some people are going to hate me for this, but I have preferences. For instance, I prefer cats over dogs. As a matter of fact, I don't like dogs at all. And I love cats. And I shouldn't. Not after the trauma the cats put me through as a child with their claws. Tell you how it happened, unless you don't want to know about it. It was a dark room, and I was all alone because we couldn't afford a babysitter or electricity. And I heard a noise coming from behind the couch, a yell for help. Meow, 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 meow. It was a cat yelling for help. So I ran over to the edge of the couch, and I bent down and I looked, and sure enough, it was another cat beating up another cat. The cat that was yelling for help needed my help, and so I reached in and I tried to break up the cat bite and save the cat yelling for help. But I couldn't reach the cat. So I tried to move the couch, but I couldn't do that either, because either the couch was really heavy or it was because I was malnourished as a child. Not sure. So after that, I figured I'm just gonna have to squeeze in the hole to save that cat. It was a small space between the couch and the wall. And I had to go in like this. And I couldn't see anything. I could only feel things. And then I felt fur. And then I thought I felt the top cat, the bully cat. And I tried to pull that cat off, the cat that was getting beat up. And then the cat that was getting beat up was able to escape by sinking its claws into my head and back, and using that to propel the cat's self out and escape death. And I thought to myself, you're welcome, cat. You're welcome. I saved you. But then, just as I thought that, I realized that the cat that was beating up that cat that I saved was now beating me up, and I needed to be saved. The cat was on my head, was clawing at my face, was biting my head, and it wouldn't let me go. And I tried to squirm away out of the couch, but the more I tried, the more it grasped and held onto me in those cat claw hands. And so I prayed. I prayed that the cat that I saved would come back and save me, but it never did. And so then I just decided I am at the mercy of this cat's claws, hands, and so I just laid there until the cat was done beating me up and let me go. And then I crawled out, and I was bleeding everywhere. My head, on my face, on my back, I had bite marks and cat saliva in my hair. And I said to myself, I am going to be the bigger person and forgive these cats for what they did to me. I am not going to hold cat hatred in my heart. And then, fast forward, I'm older, more mature, and I hear that same sound again. A couple cats fighting, but this time it's on TV. And I rush to the TV and I'm like, that was when I realized that the cats was on Animal Planet, not the same cats, but they were not fighting at all. They were having cat sex. And that was when I realized that I needed to be forgiven, not the other way around. I needed to be forgiven by the cats for what I had did for breaking up their cat sex. I realized I owed them cats an apology. And then I also wondered why no one ever sat down with me and taught me about cat sex. That would have saved me from being beat up by 2 cats. And having to seek cat forgiveness for the rest of my life for what I had done. Now fast forward even further, and I'm a little more mature, and I'm thinking, you know, I think I want some of that cat sex, but without the cat, with the person. And so I meet this girl and we move in together, and she likes cats and I like cats. And one day she goes to work and I'm just all alone with the cat, and I'm bored, and I'm thinking, I'm looking at the cat and I have nothing to do, and I'm thinking, what if I train this cat to do something? I bet you my girlfriend would like me more. I might even get something out of it. Maybe. And so I had an idea. What if I could teach or train this cat to jump on my shoulder? And so I went and I got a treat. I stood up tall. And I held the treat on my shoulder like this. And I'm like, you smell this treat, cat? You want this treat? You gotta come and get it. It's up here. Jump up here. Come get the treat. And it did. It clawed. It did not jump. It climbed up my leg, my shirt, and clawed through my clothing the whole way. And now I'm bleeding again. But that's okay. Thought maybe the cat just can't jump that high. And so I crouched down, and I kind of bent forward. I'm like, here you go, just jump up there. And finally, the cat, it figured it out. It jumped up on my shoulder, never clawed me, got the treat, and then slowly I would move up and up and up until finally I was a little bent over. But then at the end, when it was on my shoulder, I would stand straight up and say, ta-da! I was the great cat trainer. No one, my girlfriend was not that impressed with the trick. And then one day, a maintenance person showed up at the door of our house, and he was really tall. And I don't know if he scratched his ear or like stretched, but the cat mistaked that for him having a treat, and it ran and it jumped at him, but he was tall, and so the cat just landed right about where his crotch was, and then started climbing from there. And he freaked out. He thought he was being attacked by a cat, and it was like a cat tall guy fight. And then the cat got all the way up there only to realize that he didn't even have a treat. And then he left screaming about suing, and he's calling his lawyer, and I did what any good cat trainer would do. I gave the cat a treat and said, "Nice try. We'll get him and land that one next time." And then it got out, word got out around town that we had an attack cat, and people quit coming over. And so one day my girlfriend said, "You either on-train the cat or we're breaking up." And so we broke up. Now fast forward to today. I am now married, and I think I married my wife around the age. She was like 40, I'm younger, and she had no kids. She's like 40 years old, had 0 kids, but I knew something about cat sex. So now we have 2 kids. She had kids in her 40s. So we have 2 kids. And we have no cat because we can't afford one, she says. But we go to church, and my kids are always telling me about these people that they know from church who has this cat. And I'm always telling my kids how I used to be a cat trainer, and I don't think they believed me. But they were telling me about this cat, Walter, and they had I guess they have a baby too. I don't remember the baby's name, but the cat's name was Walter, and they were always going over and petting the kitty. And then one day they invited me over for dinner, and I thought, this is my chance to make a good impression by showing the kids that I'm good with cats. Now the kids tried to warn me that Walter was feisty, and he had to come to you and smell you, and only then maybe you could pet him. And he did not like a lot of people. But I knew cats, and I was going to show them. And so I got in there, and let's just say that Walter was a big, larger than life cat, a cat that took up a lot of room in the house. I don't want to be mean to Walter. First thing I did was I went to Walter, and I put my hand down, and I let Walter sniff my hand, and then I went to pet him, and nothing happened. And I was like, see kids? I know my way around cats. And then a little while later, we sat down around the dinner table, and I thought, petting Walter isn't enough. I should play with Walter. I think my kids were watching. They were sitting there, and I was sitting there, and I thought I would do the hand paw thing. Like, I looked around the corner, and Walter was looking out the patio door. It was a screen patio door, and he was just sitting there looking out the door. So I got down, and I pawed my hand paw around the corner, and then I waited for Walter to come and attack it. But Walter never came. And then I looked, and he didn't do anything. So I did it again. Still nothing. And then I even made the little pattering sounds with my fingers after I swiped around the corner. My fingers are a mouse sound. Come and get my little mouse fingers, Walter. And Walter did nothing. And my kids are watching, and I'm thinking, come on, Walter, you're embarrassing me in front of my kids. I told my kids I had a way with cats, and you're not playing, you're not doing what I want you to do. And then I look. Behind me is a window that goes out to the patio, and I look through the window, and I can see Walter. I can see out onto the patio, and I can see Walter sitting there next to the screen looking out the patio screen door. And so I tap on the window, and Walter looks at me. I'm like, Walter, you're embarrassing me, Walter. I'm going to go over there, and I'm going to swipe my hand around that corner one more time, and you better come get my hand paw. You got that, Walter? And my kids are watching me. And I did one last swipe, and Walter lifted his hand and did that same swipe, and the screen door opened. And my kids freaked out. They're like, Walter is an inside cat only. Walter's going to escape. Thanks, Dad. He's going to escape, and then we'll never be able to pet him again. What are you doing, Dad? You taught him to escape. And then the owner came rushing. And I'm like, no, I didn't. No, I'm sure he always knew how to do that. And then the owner comes running and grabs Walter, brings Walter in, slams the screen door, locks it, slams the glass door, locks it, and says, Walter just learned how to open the screen door. We've been living here for 2 years, and he never knew how to do that. And I looked back at my kids. They were so angry with me. And I was angry too at this point, and I yelled out. I said, well, you know, Walter is either just fat and lazy, or Walter don't know how to play like a cat.